Hello and welcome. In 1978, in a class of 1,000 engineers, electrical engineers in Berkeley, there were just two women, and I'm happy to be and privileged to be sitting with one of them. But it also tells you the journey that women have come in the world of computing and engineering, both in Silicon Valley and outside, and right here in India. So I'm joined by Babura Ji, who was in that class in 1978, and it's interesting that women have actually started attending college in larger numbers and peaked, and actually the numbers started falling back in the US. But though that's not the case in other countries like India.
Yes,
so tell us, you've worked, you worked with HP and Silicon Graphics, and you've been a computer science person or an electrical engineer person, and you've been in consulting. It's been a long journey.
Yes. I was astounded actually when I was in engineering school. I thought it's only got to go up. You know, at that time, many women were going into software. I was in hardware. That was less usual. Yeah. But I thought for sure as I got older, that more women would go in. So I went into my engineering career. I moved up the ladder, and then I switched and did some nonprofit work, and then I worked in school districts. And I came back to ABI 2 years ago, thinking it had to have gotten better. And what I had been told is it's actually on the decline, and that women are actually going more into science and math and some of the other hard sciences, but in computer science we are declining, and that astounded me. And so we are very passionate about getting more women into computer science. There's no reason why they can't do it, and it's also the part of our economy that is growing and where the best paid jobs are.
Right.
So I come from a family that was not wealthy. I was the first to go to college. I got a very good education because California at that time had a very good public education system. And so I see this as not just something nice to do, but a way to rebuild the middle class, which has been declining in the US.
Right.
So there's actually a very compelling reason to get more women and men into computer science in every industry. Has computing at its core. You can't run a railroad now without computers.
Right.
So it's not just tech companies.
Right. So how is it? Why did this happen? So why it went to a peak in the 90s and then it started dropping? So is it only the job market?
The culture in technology is actually fairly well known for being hostile to women. It is a tough one. As I read the research and got to know what the research was saying, I felt like I was reading my own life. I could relate to everything the research shows. So there's a number of reasons why girls and women are discouraged from becoming computer scientists. And some of it's stereotype. They think, well,
geeks.
If you're an engineer, you're going to be in a cubicle all day and smell bad. And there's only one thing to do, be a geek and code the operating system. And in fact, there are so many ways to be a computer scientist now. If you're an artist, you can be an animator and make a very good living. People will think, well, I'm a social butterfly, I'm not technology. Well, with social media and all the social applications now, your expertise is needed. And if you want to do hardcore engineering, it's still there. So there's so many ways to be a computer scientist, but there's a stereotype about it. And girls also start to self-select out of programming as early as 11 years old. And then there's a lack of role models. Women don't see other women doing that kind of work. So a lot of what we do with Grace Hopper is to put women who have attained all kinds of levels. You've seen the women here. These are astounding. So that women see that other people like them actually have made it. So that's very inspiring. And then we also know that women are very isolated. If you're the only girl in the class or the only woman at work, the norm of relating is very male. I never had a problem because I was a competitive athlete, so that was sort of in me. But for other women, it could be very intimidating. And I saw it as a challenge. In college, a TA told me, what I heard was, only guys do engineering and they make more money. And I thought, that's a good reason for majoring in it. So there's a lot of isolation. And the reason we build community is so that women won't feel alone and internalize that something's wrong with them. And then the last thing is we know they lack access to social networks that a lot of the guys have. You know, they have they just know that's part of building a career. And so we work a lot to show women how they can build social networks.
Right. And I mean, in your own lifetime, are there points which, you know, women should be looking out for, you know, where, you know, something that will happen which can really force you off that track? I mean, you may start out being determined to, let's say, follow a career in engineering or computing, but something happens, maybe it's a family, maybe it's a marriage, or I don't know, there may be many inflection points. What would you say are those from your own experiences and people could be ready for?
I think actually there may be two cultural contexts. So I hear more in India about the 6 or 7 years to take off to have children. So the re-entry is a problem. In the U.S., you hear more about balancing and pursuing a career while raising kids, but you don't hear as often that women leave. For me, early in a career as an engineer, there are many times when you will have your confidence undermined. So I was very lucky because I can think of 2 times in my career where men who were mentors to me said, you know, so-and-so doesn't think, you know, such and such manager doesn't think you're very technical, but I actually disagree. Now imagine if I didn't have that person, I would have started to believe that I wasn't very good technically. So I think, you know, I look back on some of my early days at HP, and I had managers who didn't think I was technical, and when I look at my notes and I look at, I'm actually more of an architect than they were. But I didn't know that. I was a computer architect. I was thinking bigger picture. I was trying to figure out why would someone pay me money for this thing we're building. And so I, in fact, was probably more technical in a commercial way than my own bosses. But early in your career, when you're an individual contributor, you are going to be working and competing with people who are, you know, doing very detailed technical things. So I think early on you've got to have a way to not let your confidence undermine you. And I know of other women my age who say, gosh, if we had had Grace Hopper or something like ABI, I might still be an engineer. And I wonder, because I've met lots of women my age, like Nora Denzel, who's astounding. And I think, gosh, if I had known what I could do, would I have stayed in a technical career? And so I think every 5 years there's a different challenge. You go into your first management job, there's a different challenge. You go into your first executive job, and all of a sudden the social norms of how you behave at a management offsite kick into play. So it's like learning a different culture. And then I've always been lucky because men liked working with me. You know, someone told me I was always like the girl guys like to hang out with. You know, so I didn't have nearly as much resistance and hostility, but it's still there. You are the men at an offsite need to break their peer norms to even talk to you, because you know that's in the culture. That's like them demoting themselves to go talk to a girl. So you're constantly up against what any minority has to deal with. So it's keeping your mind strong through those subtle biases that you're up against.
Right. So what's the other classmate from 1978 doing now?
You know, I don't know, but she was a classic nerd. Okay. She really was. Yeah. So we graduated in 1978. In 1991, I started my own consulting business, and I worked at Quantum Corporation, disk drive company. And she was there, and she was still an engineer, process engineer. So my guess is she's still in a technical career.
Right. And sort of to conclude, I mean, does that say something about staying focused on doing the real hard stuff, which is the development and the innovation, as opposed to getting into managerial role and then moving on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, going into management roles depends on what kind. You know, when I was at HP, I was actually managing 3 departments of engineers that were supporting the production of our highest revenue computer.
Mm.
So I didn't need as much technical because I wasn't doing R&D work at that time. And we were really trying to make sure that the products we were building were reliable and were shipworthy.
Mm.
So I was in production, which is also very male dominated. You know, most of the technicians on the
Right.
production line are men.
Right.
So it depends on what kind of management you go into.
Right.
And if you're on a general manager path, then you would more likely be a product manager and then go into P&L management.
Right.
So there's a number of ways that you can go.
Right. So last question. So what's the task ahead for the next year or so? What are the new things that you're planning from a programming point of view at ABI?
Yeah, so the Grace Hopper celebration is life-changing. And when I was hired by Telly and people were telling me that the signature program is life-changing, I thought, that's pretty dramatic. You know, I can't believe that. And I started going to Grace Hopper, and this is my second year with ABI. And our last conference, I had women telling me for 3 days straight, thank you for this work, and it changed my life. So I'm convinced now that what we do is life-changing, but only doing a once-a-year life-changing event and maybe affecting 6,000 women, that's very small market share. You know. So our next set of programs are really programs we think can be locally implemented. We need local community. So instead of hopefully going to once-a-year life-changing event, you have ongoing interaction with other women in your area. So we've just done a strategic alliance with Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And they have created a platform to get self-organized groups of women together
Right.
to do professional development. We're creating curriculum specifically for women who are technical to augment the Lean In curriculum. So ABI Lean In Circles, for example, you might learn more about why it's important to patent your ideas and how to do it.
Mm.
And we have this community of role models, so we have people interviewed who have done it. So we're not like a university where we teach you the theory of getting a patent. We talk about why you need to do it for your career. We're going to be developing stuff for learning how to publish your work and people who really want to stay on a technical track. So that's a big piece of our new program, Lean In Circles. We're building regional hubs so that ABI will have regional hubs of communities, and they can organize Lean In Circles. We're putting a package together so that you could do a one-day Grace Hopper. So instead of, once a year we change some people's lives, they happen all over the world.
Yeah.
So it's really scaling now and going local.
Right.
And that's really where all our programming is going to head.
Great, and I wish you all the best
Thank you.
in your efforts for the year ahead. Thank you so much.
Okay.